Today we're going to be doing a bit of stretching, just opening out the body a little bit and feeling that length through the muscles. So starting with the legs hip width apart, toes spread, belly button drawing in towards your spine and pelvic floor lifting so you feel this band of support through your waistline. And we're just going to relax the arms down to the side, looking to the side with the head, eye line moving gently from side to side without moving anything else. Keeping those shoulders square on, relaxing through the neck and just waking up that movement through the neck. Good. And then taking a little circle round with the nose. So drawing a little circle with the nose all the way up and round, gently round. Just take it slower if you need to, go at your own pace, and then reverse around, mobilizing through the neck, taking any little scrunchy bits away or feeling of tension, just release through the neck. Good. And then gently coming back to the center. You're going to roll the shoulders back, opening out through the chest. Roll those shoulders back, up and back, and finish. Then bring the hands to the shoulders and lift the elbows a little bit deeper, opening out through the chest. Big circles with the elbows, forward, up and back, keeping that tummy pulled in and lengthening through the spine. Well done. Good. And then arms down to your sides. Shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, release. Let it all go. And again, inhale is a big shrug. Exhale, shoulders down the back. And last one, in and release. Then big arm circles. Bring the arms up and around across the body. Breathe in and release. In and down. Good. Last one. And release down. Good. Stretch through the arms. So bend the knees, push away and separate the shoulder blades. And then pull those arms back towards you together. Clasping the hands, opening out and stretching through the chest and shoulders. And again, bend the knees, separate the shoulder blades as you push away. And then pull back and open out. Then taking a little pat on the back and lifting that elbow up to the ceiling. You can then take the arm above the head and just draw the elbow back a little bit to stretch through the shoulder and arm. Same arm goes across to the opposite side, hand in front of that elbow and push back. You can extend the arm if it helps, or keep it bent. And then gently onto the other side, tap the back, hand overhead, use the light fingertips on the elbow to draw back and stretch. And then same arm across, and using your hand to push the elbow towards you, either straight arm or bent. And then bring the arms down to your side, into side bend. So hand behind the head, bend the knees, reach down with the underneath hand to the floor, side bend over, and then bring that elbow in and down towards the floor as your eye line moves. Open back out to the side and center. Try not to pull on the head. So bending the knees over to the side, lift up before you bow over, and then really letting that elbow drop down as you rotate, eyes towards the floor and stretch. Open out and release down. And again, one more each side. Bend over, lengthen fingertips to floor, pull the tummy in, contract and rotate. Drop that elbow, feel the stretch before you open up and back. So this is like you're between two panes of glass. You're going straight over to the side, and then you're letting the chest drop and rotate the spine, and then open out and back in. Well done. Good. Roll the shoulders and release. Perfect. Good. Into our roll down. So standing on the mat if you need to, and then facing the length of the mat parallel. You're going to dip the chin to the chest, relax the shoulders forward, pull the tummy in, relax the knees, make them soft, and then vertebra by vertebra, roll down, hanging like a rag doll, but keeping all the support through your middle, all the way down to the floor as far as you can go. You can get down to the floor, the knees are bent, that's fine. Place the hands towards the floor and straighten the legs and release. And straighten, bending both knees just to release slightly, keeping the belly button pulled in. Pull in, keep those knees bent, and you're going to roll up. So tuck the tailbone under, lift the pelvic floor, keep those knees tracking forward, and stand tall, shoulders relaxed. And again, chin to chest, peel away, vertebra by vertebra, let those arms slump forward, hang down as if you're rounding over a barrel, going down through the spine slowly, finding that stretch and opening out through the vertebra. Keep that tailbone down as far as you can, down to the floor, and then ready to straighten the legs, and release, and straighten, and release. Last one, straighten, and if you can, extend and lengthen the back. So you're really reaching out the tailbone and the crown of the head in the opposite direction. Fingertips are touching the floor. You'll feel that big stretch through the hamstring. You can walk the feet, the knees here, so walk the legs. Just bending one knee and dropping into the hip from side to side and stretching through the hamstrings. And then bend the knees down, come down to a little crouch, and then you're going to walk your hands out into a 4-point kneeling. So come into that 4-point kneeling where the knees are underneath the hips and hands underneath the shoulders. So you're just going to take a cat stretch here. So lifting up through the spine, eyes towards your center line, and then lengthening the back out to a neutral position, shoulders down, eyes to the floor. So tuck the tailbone through, lift the tummy up, belly button to spine as you're rounding like an angry cat, and then lengthening out into neutral. Last one, contract and really stretch, open out across the upper back, and then lengthen and hold it here. Keep the tummy pulling in, and you're going to thread the needle. So taking one arm through and under, dropping down into that shoulder towards the floor, underneath arm is bent, this hand is bent, and then coming back and in. Good. So reaching across and under, lengthen away, drop that shoulder right down, exhale to pull up. So it's a big stretch, only go as far as you can. So you're threading through, extending away, dropping down into that shoulder, tummy pulling in to bring you back up. We'll just do one more and stretch across and pull back up. Good. Toes tuck under. You're going to lift the tummy into that cat stretch, pull back towards your heels, and then rock forward. So you're just doing a little pull back, rocking forward if this is okay for the knees. So lift the spine and stretch, rock backwards and forwards. Relax the toes, come back onto your heels, shuffle forward, and then reach the hands across to one side and stretch through the waist. So drop the hips in the opposite direction. So if I face the front, you'll be across like this. Hold that stretch, creep the hands over to the other side. I'm taking my hand on top and pulling almost in the opposite direction to give me that stretch. And then lengthen back up. Good. Coming onto your knees, and then you're just going to take a step forward. So walk that front foot forward and make sure the knee becomes over the heel when you do your lunge. Walk the back leg out a little bit and open out through your hip flexor. So opening out, keeping those hips parallel, knee in line with the big toe and second toe. So belly button pulling in, stretching out the hip flexor. Hands go to the floor. Stretch that front leg into a hamstring stretch. And then what I do is just flex and point. Little rock back onto the heel and point. You can have a bent knee here. Doesn't matter. Just do what feels comfortable for you and your stretch. It won't hurt. It shouldn't hurt to the point where it's uncomfortable. and release. Then bending that front knee, hands to the floor, toe tucks under at the back, and you come into that running stretch lunge, and that really does intensify that hip flexor stretch. And again, you can then progress that to a straight front leg, hold, then release, and hold, and release. So it's a big hamstring stretch through that front leg as well. And release. You can obviously just hold this stretch if it feels comfortable enough. Tummy pulls in, bend both legs in, and change sides. So actually we'll go on the other side. So taking a step out, slide that back leg away, make sure this front knee is over the heel, everything's parallel, hips are square on, tummy pulling in so you don't go into your lower back, and then lunge forward. Hold that stretch into the hip. Lengthen through the crown of the head, hands to the floor, and then when you're ready, you take that back, hips moving backwards, straighten the front leg, flex the foot and rock. So it's a flex and a point almost. Rocking onto the back of the heel, you'll obviously move through the hips and back onto the forwards. Hold that stretch if you want to, a little bit longer. Then you're coming into your full running lunge, tuck toe under at the back, lift the back leg off, tummy pulls in, hands at either side of your foot. And then if you want to progress, just shift the hips backwards into that extended leg at the front, tummy pulling in, release the knee and stretch, release and stretch. Bit of a calf stretch at the back as well. Good, and then release and come back down. Bring that leg in and come to sitting. So legs out in front. You can sit on a cushion if you want to. You're just going to bring one leg in and then open that knee out to the side. Reach forward into a stretch of the hamstring, tummy pulling in. Really flex the foot and get the energy coming out through the heel of the foot. So if I go this way, stretching out that way. Then bringing that knee up, taking the opposite hand across and round, and the arm behind you, do a little bit of a rotation. Use this leg and arm to grow and spiral up a little bit taller. Get that stretch here. Then flex the foot, take the outer blade of the foot, and then extend the leg if you can. Again, bend and stretch, don't obviously overdo it. Keep the extension and lift through the top of the head. Hold that stretch, you should feel all on that outer part of the leg. Lift the arm up behind you, take your leg down, taking the hand onto the foot and really flex and pull. It's almost like you're lifting the heel away. Pull the tummy in, feel that stretch all the way through and down. Onto the other side, face the other way. Knee bent in, relax that leg out. Bring the foot alongside the calf or the knee. You can place a pillow under here if the knee doesn't like it. And then reach forward and stretch. Feel this into the lower back a little bit. It's a bit of a softer stretch with one leg bent. Tummy in, relax the head, deep breath. Always breathe into that stretch if you can. And it does take you a little bit lower and let you relax into it. And then bring that knee up, opposite hand across, and then back hand to the floor and rotate. So push and lift. It's always like pushing this shoulder forward to rotate and lift. Grow into that spiral. Activate the underneath leg as well, the extended one. And release. Flex the foot, grab the outer blade of that foot, extend the leg out and release. Out and release. Keep tall on the sit bones if you can, and then taking that upper arm behind and forward, reach and stretch. So taking the same arm as leg, pull in, almost lift the heel off a little bit off the floor, and release. Good. Bring the legs in front. And then whoosh the hands forward, stretch towards the toes, out beyond, tight tummy to lift up, shoulders slump down, and then pull the back down, elbows towards the floor. And again, reach forward, tummy in, lift the arms up, pull those elbows down into goalposts. And again, one more, reach up, forward, and pull. Bring the hands behind you, shuffle the bottom forward, open the chest out and stretch. Don't take the head back, eye line slightly forward. Bring one foot in and lift up, push, extended leg, opening out through that hip and lower, also through the shoulders, and push, lift, keep the hips level, and down, well done. Good, coming to a lying down position. You're going to roll down, so taking the hands behind the legs, gently shuffle yourself down and release into a leg stretch on the floor. So lift that leg up to the ceiling, flex and point, flex and point. So gently moving through the ankle and then grabbing hold behind the thigh, bend that knee in, extend the underneath leg out. I shuffle back a little bit. Extend the leg out and hold that stretch. Then you can extend the leg as far as you can and release. And extend and release. Move the hand to the calf if you need to, if it helps. Extend and release. You might get a bit more of a stretch. Don't worry too much about the pelvis, it will move, but try not to worry about how close the leg comes to you. It's more of an extension. Flex the foot, you'll feel a lot more stretch there, and bend it in. Take the hand to the knee, open out to the side, stretch through the groin, and back in, and last one out, and back in. Change hands, taking that hand across, rock onto the underneath side, over to one side and stretch, you'll feel that big stretch in through the waist and lower back, so go steady. Deep breath in, reaching that shoulder down towards the floor as much as possible, and then pull back in onto the other side. So keeping that leg bent, you lift the other leg and you'll flex and point, flex and point, pushing the heel away, tummy pulling in, bend that knee into your chest. Extend the other leg if you want to, or just keep that knee bent. Then you extend the leg up and bend and reach and bend. So move the hands if you fancy just a little bit more of a stretch. Extend the underneath leg and be active. Pull the belly button in and zip up the pelvic floor. Hold and flex if you want a little bit more stretch. Hold it there. And bend, hand onto the knee, same arm as leg, you open out to the side, opening out, try and stabilise a little, they will move those hips, but stabilise through the hips if you can, open out to the side, and back in, taking the other hand, opposite arm out, you rock right over, stabilise, don't go too far, doesn't have to go to the floor. Keeping that other shoulder towards the floor, it may move a little, don't worry. Tummy in, and exhale, pull back in, good. Bring the knees to the chest and rock, circle, knees out and around, out and around. And then rolling onto your side. So, onto our side exercises, similar to our spinal rotation. Cradle the head, lengthen through the waist so you're not dropping on the underneath side, hand behind the head. You're just going to bring, so watch the feet are in line with the heel, with the sit bones, and then reach forward with the elbow and then open out and stretch. Try not to pull on the head. So reach that elbow, tap it to the floor, and then lift the elbow to the ceiling and then open out the chest. Keeping that lower half still, so you are really mobilizing into the waist, into the upper body, and stretch. Sticking those knees together, keeping them down into the floor as you open up. Take this slower if you want to go to your own pace, it's absolutely fine. And then open out and back. Good. Bring yourself gently up. Okay, and then we're going to do a side bend. So into that mermaid, grab hold of the back leg, you slightly stagger through the legs and you lift the arm up and over into a side bend and then release the other way. Up and over into that bowing position and use your abs and your obliques to pull you up and release. Good. Then bringing the one leg in front and lowering down into a stretch. If you don't want to do this, you could cross your legs and just do a cross leg position and reach forward. That's fine. It's quite a nice stretch anyway. Otherwise, staggered legs and lengthen forward. You can extend that back leg. You can move this front foot a little bit if you want to, if you find that a bigger stretch. So pigeon pose, you'll find that glutes and hips, big stretch. And then gently coming over to the other side. So again, all of these you can take a lot slower if you want to. It just gives you some idea of what feels good, what positions you can get into. So knees are bent, legs are stacked, and hips on top of each other, feet in line with the sit bones, hand behind the head. You're just closing that elbow down to the floor and then opening out to the ceiling. So keeping the shoulder away from the ear and mobilizing and stretching. Take a deep breath here if you want to. Hold it. Exhale to close. So just feel the stretch a little bit by breathing into the sides of the ribs. And then exhale. And again, opening out. Let the weight, the gravity take you. Keep those legs stuck together, glued to the floor. And last one, open out. And close. Done. Coming up into your mermaid stretch. Legs are staggered. Hold on to that foot. You do, or ankle. You do a side bend. And then a release the other way. And again. One side feels harder than the other. And release. And last one. And release. Good. Bringing the underneath leg forward into that pigeon pose. Or again, cross-legged with the other foot in front. Lying forward and stretch. Breathe into that stretch. Extend the leg if you want to. Behind you, creep that foot forward in line with the knee a little bit more. Move into it, just rock a little, just go steady. And gently bringing yourself out. Done. Coming into the center. Okay, taking the legs out to a wider than hip width split. And then you're going to do a spine stretch. You can take these fleshy bits behind you, so just lift the fleshy bits. And you're right on your sit bones here, so if you have a cushion and you need to and you feel tight, sit on the cushion. So you're reaching forward, stretching the spine and lifting up. Bend the knees if this helps. And again, reaching forward, lengthen that spine. It's quite a nice stretch with the knees bent and on a flex foot. And last one, reach forward and lifting up. And well done. Bring the legs together, taking that little stretch forward and lengthening all the way up to come onto your front. So last stretch, an extension and a thigh stretch to finish off. Lying on your tummy, legs are slightly wider than hip width possibly, and then arms are outside of the mat in that goalpost position. So quite wide, legs are active, tummy pulls in, lift through the crown of the head as you slide the shoulders down. You want to bring yourself up gradually and extending through the crown of the head into that upper body extension, and then lowering back down. It's a nice stretch through your center. Deep breath in, shoulders slide down, lengthen through the crown of the head and lifting up. Breathing in and lowering down. We'll just do 2 more. So feel that pull in through the tummy, slight tuck through the pelvis, shoulder blades down the back, into the back pockets as you lengthen and lower down and release. Last one. Breathing in, extend out before you lift up. Keep that collarbone wide, elbows soft in and reaching down and release. Good. Hands underneath the forehead, let those hips relax, wiggle, and then I want you to draw one foot in towards the bum, or you can then take the fingers to the toes and draw the leg in a little bit closer. So think of pressing down into the hip, think of pulling that heel to the glute, keeping that hip level, and stretch the thigh. If that's too much, you can then just bring the heel to the bum and just not pull in with your hand. And then onto the other side. Pull in, keeping those hips level, opening out through the front of the thigh. It's a really lovely thigh stretch. Breathe and release. Good. So you can hold that for as long as you want. And then when you're ready, push yourself up gently, pull the belly in, round the spine into a shell stretch. Open out, keep that tummy pulling in, rolling up, and you're done. So hopefully that was a nice little stretch to finish the day or begin the day, and help mobilise and open up through those tricky areas. Have a good day.